What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It feels so weird. I literally just filmed a video. It feels weird actually making a bunch of videos again because I haven't in forever. This is going to hopefully be a shorter video. It originally was only going to be a snippet of the Max Verstappen review. So you're basically getting ripped off. This isn't meant to be a full video. This is just a tiny snippet that I'm extending into a full video. It's called Being a Dick. No, in all seriousness, today we're doing a mini comparison between the Bburago Max Verstappen. It's not going to focus if I hold it. Well, it did sort of. In the original Max Verstappen review, I originally filmed a comparison between the Max Verstappen diecast and the Spark Fernando Alonso that I reviewed earlier in the year. I haven't taken it off the base yet. Shh, don't tell. But I cut it out to save time because I decided I would make it a standalone video, because really Spark versus Bburago, it's something that I'm sure a lot more people would want to see than maybe just the review of the car. Now, full disclosure, this comparison is basically fucking pointless. In my humble opinion, these cars aren't designed for the same market. They're not really competitors to each other. They may look almost the same, but I've said this before, Bburago to me are toy cars, and Spark and Mini Champs are models. They're not really meant to be sold to the same demographic, in my opinion. So this comparison is really just for fun and to see where the differences between these cars lie, because looking at it from afar, you might not be able to tell a whole lot in terms of details and build quality and stuff like that. So we're gonna take a closer look, a more in-depth look. Since this is a standalone video, I don't have to worry about it being 27 minutes or something like that. Now, before I get into the actual comparison, let's take a look at the prices for these cars, because I always say, oh, Bburago is the cheapest F1 diecast you can get. It's way cheaper than Spark or Mini Champs, but I never actually say the prices of these cars. So I looked up exactly what I paid for these cars. And so the Bburago car, before tax, I paid $16.98 for this car. That's a little bit out of the range that I think a good price for the driverless Bburago cars are. I think you want to stick towards $14 to $16, so it's barely out of range. $16 would kind of be the high point for this one. But yeah, you can find these for $14 to $16. That's the price I think you should be paying for these cars. The driver versions are a little bit different. And yes, just in case you are new here, some Bburagos have the driver figures in them. It's $24 to $26, the range that I think these ones should be purchased for, but the only difference is the driver and the box it comes in. Now, the Spark car, I paid $78 for this car. That's how much it costs to buy this car. That is significantly more than the Bburago car. But like I said, these cars are not really meant to be the same, sold to the same person. Maybe in 2023, I will get a Spark Red Bull or something like that. So it's actually a comparison between the same cars, but I think the basic principles apply for all of these cars. So what you're getting, what's better about the Spark compared to the Bburago is pretty easy to spot, even if the cars are not exactly the same. I won't go as in depth as I would if these were the same, because like I said, this is kind of just me plucking it out of the Max Verstappen review. But the key areas I think you should look at between Bburago and Spark or Mini Champs, the front suspension and the front wheel areas. It's a toy, so in this case, the suspension is painted the same color as the livery. And also, I mean, the wheels, the tires look like toy wheels. You can see the seam in between where they put the two sides together. It's very, very sturdy, because this is supposed to be a toy. Like this, what I'm doing right here, I would never do it to a Spark car because I think it would break immediately, because they're a lot more fragile, but they look a lot better. I think Spark and Mini Champs The tires look fantastic on these cars. They look basically real, like they would on a real F1 car. Also, the Spark car has mini antennas and little tiny, easily breakable details that you just would not see on a Bburago car. The key area I want to look at for this video is right here, the sort of monocoque air, around the side pods, the monocoque, and everything around this area, because and I never really noticed this, so I don't know if this is brand new. I'd have to look at an old car, but take a look at the panel detail, the rivet detail, as I call it. Although I don't believe these are actually rivets, they're probably more like screws. But the little dots, basically, where in real life the car would be bolted together to head out to the track. You've got lining for where the fuel goes. Just a lot of lining detail all around this area. Like right here, you got a line. This whole panel right here. It just looks, it's super, super, super well detailed here. Now, if you look at the Bburago car, that is not present at all. There's absolutely no lining basically anywhere. The only lining is right here, where I don't even know if it looks like that on the real car, honestly, because it's just where this piece is die cast and then this is plastic. So they basically have to do it to cut costs or to change the material that they're using. So I don't know if this line is actually present on the real Red Bull car. Same thing with the floor. It just looks a lot more detailed and just looks better. Like, I don't want to say it's more durable, but the floors on the Bburago cars look plasticky, they look toy-y, they look shiny like a toy. It all looks very toy-y. I actually shouldn't show you the bottom because I think the bottom of this Spark actually looks like shit. But the material that they use is way, way better. It just looks more accurate to a real F1 car compared to the Bburago car. And here's the real suspension. Really, when you're getting a Spark or Mini Champs, any type of model car, it's more accurate. It just looks higher quality. But it's only meant to sit on a shelf. The Bburago car, you can also sit on a shelf, and you're probably not going to be able to see that there's fucking no detail here, or like this little beam that attaches to the rear wing. Big, bulky, thick, if you're into that. On the Bburago car, a lot more streamlined and slim, more accurate looking on the Spark car. Also, the decal work is a pretty big deal here. The inside of the rear wing always are just like cheap little stickers, and they look like cheap little stickers on the Bburago cars, but they look decent on the Spark and Mini Champs. It's not perfect, I don't think, but sticker work is also just a lot better on these Spark cars. I'll take a picture of that. I don't even know why I'm trying to put it in a frame right here. So basically, I know there are some people out here that just never would pay this kind of price for a model car. I don't buy a whole lot of these model Spark or Mini Champs anymore. I think the Mini Champs have kind of lost. The Mini Champs, I just didn't like the quality of the last few that I got. And Spark are cheaper anyway, and they make more. I think they make more teams than Mini Champs. And obviously, the Spark cars are pretty expensive for what they are. But, you know, as I've said it a million times, you know, these aren't really competitors. Despite how similar they look, they are two completely different types of model car, if you ask me. I do think F1 should start making more of the cheaper stuff like the Bburago to attract more fans, attract a bigger audience. I think there's a stigma with F1 that everything is super expensive and not easy to get your hands on. There's probably a lot of people who would buy an Alpine model car but won't because it's $70, almost $80. So I definitely like what F1 is doing. F1 and Bburago are doing this year, making more teams for this Bburago line. That being said, though, obviously these cars are way nicer. They look fantastic. I cannot commend them for the detail that they do on these cars enough. But it's really, a lot of people aren't going to be buying a whole lot of them very often. And like I said, I don't buy a whole lot of these anymore. I think this is the only one I've bought all year. So hopefully I've done a good job at just comparing the two. Obviously, you guys are going to have your preferences, so feel free. I encourage you to comment what you guys think between these two brands, but I've said it a million times. They're just so different that it's not even really a fair comparison, this video. I have made a little bit of a more in-depth or a dedicated Spark versus Mini Champs where I actually look at the same car, but it's the RB12 from 2016. So that's a very old car, and Bburago have upped their quality. Bburago and Spark have both gotten a lot better since then, so it's not really an updated comparison. I also did a Bburago versus Mini Champs last year. That's one of my most popular videos, so be sure to check that one out. I hope this video isn't super long because I'm already looking at the timer and I filmed a lot for this one. So hopefully I'll be able to cut it down because it's not meant to be a real review or a proper in-depth video, just a short comparison. Just a short comparison that I kind of had to cut out of the original review. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.